Hello everyone, welcome to any video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. This is the indicator analysis which is gonna support our deep analysis, and to see the indicator what they tend to tell us, which possibility might have higher possibility and higher chances of course to unfold for the next week, starting from Monday or even from tomorrow or tonight. So since we are in weekend, of course, it is very rare to have a really good moves on the weekend or like some volatility. For impulses, for example, it might of course range very slowly. However, some weekends might be volatile sometimes. Now, starting with the volume, guys, we're gonna start, of course, here. As you can see, the volume still rising up again for the sellers. As you can see, we see higher volume again for the sellers entering in this area, meaning that we did not finish yet this move toward the downside. And this, of course, on the 1 hour chart, it gives much higher possibility for lower prices. And probably as well on the 4 hour chart, we can see the volume is very equal and still very high, meaning, of course, there is a lot of fear, a lot of sellers still in the market, and we're still looking for lower prices. Which scenario can unfold, of course, with this volume? It is very possible, of course, that we have the ABC expanding flat, where your wave C is an ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Another one can be, of course, a finished bull run here, where you have finished, of course, a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. Of course, a continuation toward the downside for a massive drop. Now, let's say a middle scenario, bearish scenario, which is a zigzag where you have an A B, and a C, and you would like to finish here 5 waves toward the downside to finish, of course, this wave C. And of course, in that case, we would like, of course, to still see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. In a way, of course, it can be an ending diagonal as well, of course. So yeah, basically the volume telling us that we are still looking for lower prices, and that because we are still looking for high volume towards the downside with sellers. Now, after the volume, let's move to the RSI. So on the 1 hour chart, let's start with the 1 hour chart. As we can see on the RSI, we are looking for a red oversold area as well here. As you can see, we got this at the wave 3, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. During the 4, 5, of course, the RSI was cooling down. However, we don't have any sign of bullish divergence yet. Meaning, if you are bullish, you would like to see some divergence between the price action and the RSI. However, the RSI telling us that the price here, or the RSI, is still moving up with the price, meaning that there is no divergence, and meaning there is no bullish, of course, possibilities here. It is much higher for the bearish, and that because, of course, we are looking here for on the top for convergence between the tops, meaning that this is, of course, the right price action direction, right? This is the right direction of the price. And of course, after looking here as well, again, we have another convergence, as you can see, between those top. So that is some continuation toward the downside with the price action, right? And meaning, of course, still looking for lower prices. On the 4 hour chart, we are looking at the same thing. We have some convergence here. Basically, no, not really. This looks like divergence, but the convergence is clearly here. This is what is important, by the way. Very strong convergence, meaning the price is still moving toward the downside very massively, actually. And yeah, on the daily as well for the RSI, we can see on the top, you can see a very clear exhaustion here for the buyers. When you see a divergence on the top like this one, it's kind of like divergence, or let's just take this one, between this one, these tops, here we go. You see a very clear divergence, but these are from the tops, meaning this is an exhaustion for the buyers. When the buyers are exhausted, of course, we want to see a lower prices, and of course, the RSI has to cool down again and moving toward the downside. We are looking on the daily here as well. We see a very clear convergence for the tops, right? Here and there. Meaning, of course, yeah, the price is still, of course, again, moving toward the downside. So most of the indicators suggest lower prices so far for the volume and the RSI. Let's see the MACD as well. On the MACD, let's start with the daily. That's nice. Yeah, we see a lot of red. Starting here, we are under the zero in the trend with the trend lines. They are under zero, meaning still continuation for a new wave toward the downside. Remember, when you see such a volume in green, meaning, of course, this is bad for the buyers, and we're looking for lower prices. Here you are looking at it in the opposite, where you are seeing this for the sellers, meaning, of course, the buyers are still accumulating and moving towards the upside. Now, it is very possible, of course, to move with another wave toward the downside here in case we have a wave. Don't forget the volume is increasing for the sellers, meaning if this is gonna still increasing like this, yeah, that means, of course, it might open a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the scenario of an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now remember that I said once that even if we get a very deep price action for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is very hard to invalidate the bull run. Meaning, even if we get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and we close our CME gap, that's fine. Even if we close that CME gap, it doesn't mean that we're not in the bull run anymore. It can turn and move towards the upside unless we reach the 66,500. This is a bear market signal, of course, that we might not take the high anymore. Of course, it can retrace and then move down again. Yeah, so these are the things for the daily on the MACD. As we said, yeah, it looks very, very... on the 4-hour chart, well, we see, of course, some green, but it's a light green. We are under the zero. Yeah, very possible to move down even again for another round here towards the downside. And obviously that the daily on the MACD is leading here. And as you can see, yeah, the break here of this, yeah, as you can see, we saw a huge volume here for the buyers. And that means, of course, there was like a lot of entries here, but it was suddenly broken directly, with the sellers. And we saw the high amount of volume again of sellers getting in. Meaning, of course, invalidation or something for this impulse toward the upside. And then, of course, we might dive deeper one more again. So basically on the MACD, I would say the daily is leading, is controlling. So I think the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart will follow the daily chart here on the MACD. And most of the indicators so far tells us, yeah, much higher possibility for the bearish scenarios. Last indicator is the KGT here. On the KGT, as you can see, the strongest signals is, of course, we are in a sell since the top still sells, the buy is still in the back. We didn't get it in the front yet, meaning, of course, still, yeah, high possibility to move toward the downside. No divergence, right, for the bullish here. I mean, it's a very, very weak divergence. In case we took the low here, it is very, very weak divergence. We saw, of course, this move toward the upside, but yeah, after it was invalidated again. Having a bearish signal here. Now, if we go a little bit with the weaker signals, we can see, of course, here a very clear convergence between those signals, meaning, yeah, we might continue towards the downside as well on KGT. So basically, guys, it is very clear that the indicators tells us that more bearish scenarios are to come in the next week or starting from the weekend. Nobody knows. It depends, of course. Some weekends are volatile, but most weekends are just calm and just sideways. However, if we see, of course, continuation toward the downside, I suggest first to watch the first scenario that it might unfold here with the first target, of course, which is your ABC expanding flat, as of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that case, you would like, of course, to reach this scenario. In that case, you would like to reach around, let's say, the 87,000, right? The same can happen as well for the zigzag. in case we are zigzag in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an impulse toward the downside, it should be also the same target almost. Be careful from the 90,000 as well. It could be a target for a short wave here as ending diagonal. It could be an ABC ending diagonal. So be careful from the 90,000, and then of course as TP2 or TP1, I would say is 87,000. Yeah. And the ultimate bearish scenario, of course, is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towards the downside. We need to break all of these. We need to break the 87, 86 area, and then we say, okay, we are much higher possibility in a bearish scenario, very deep bearish scenario, or very deep correction, because as we said, invalidation of the bullish or the bull run is 66,500, meaning we might dive deep. We might dive deep with the price, but if we don't reach the invalidation, which is here around on the top of this wave 1, the price still can move toward the upside in a wave 5 to finish this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Very simple. It's a very huge wave 3 here, and of course a deep correction is very normal to have it. So that was it for Bitcoin price prediction based on the indicators. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.